gentlemen, turn your speakers up. It's time for the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. Turn up the bass. A podcast discussing all things AEW and WWE. Oh yeah! Let's meet the hosts. First, a man hailing from the hub city in Indiana. He goes by @TooSweetKyle on Twitter. The host, Kyle Gagliardi. And your co-host, hailing from the Valley of Lake Tahoe. He goes by @JimTuck89 on Twitter. Jim Tucker. And last but not least, hailing from the cornfield somewhere in Indiana, the full-time part-timer, Ian Garavaglia. Turn up the bass. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram @PodOnTheMark.
What is going on, everyone? You're listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast, hosted by the Marks, for the Marks, and I am your host, Mr. OTM Kyle Gagliardi. And today, I'm joined by my good friend, Jim Tucker, or as I like to call him, Tucky!
Long time no see sarcastically with you because we mixed it up just a day or two ago, but excited to be back. Not excited to be black. That would be difficult. I'm excited to be here with the boys and the podcast son @Ian Garavaglia. Ian.
I just want to say, inject that right into my veins. The Tucky back.
Oh, sorry.
No. Okay. Back. We are back, and I am very excited. The trio is back, which is it's a good change of pace after a minute.
Couple Otis things to start us off here. Okay, so Otis in the program with Chad Gable. Otis inspires the Tucky Heavy Machinery send-in, and Otis, the first wrestling figure purchased in that collection.
You got a few over there.
There's a couple.
For the people that are listening, you're going to have to watch to see what Tucky's got behind him. Because there's a lot. And we talked about it on the main event mixer. He added a few more.
All that, it lines the ceiling and the door cutout. And I'm going to try to not spend too much money at WrestleCon. They also announced more guests, which means more problems for us. But I think... High Spots is going to have a store there too, so I might pick up a couple signed things and maybe not necessarily do the meet and greets with everybody. I am still targeting the Team Extreme WWE 3-pack from 2002 to get signed by the Hardy Boys and Lita. That was peak childhood, and I always wanted to be Jeff Hardy because my brother's name was Jeff. So the guy across the street, Mikey Wilson's younger brother, Matt Wilson. Well, I'm like, your name's Matt. You got to be Matt Hardy because I always wanted to be Jeff.
That makes sense. I mean, the names are right there.
Jim and Jeff are right there, too. That's pretty close.
Oh, yeah.
I do have a question. What's going to be the first figure you crack out of the box for your son to play with?
Fucking none of those.
Wow.
A basic No-Am Dar. I don't care. I have floated with the idea of, like, if I'm buying figures and stuff, because I have Elites, Ultimates, and AEWs. Like, I don't have basic figures. I don't have anything like... So every once in a while, if you wanted to crack open a random like figure that I think will hold no value, fine. But I've also got like almost 60 micro brawlers over here, like the little small ones. Those might be great, or I might just sell those because I'm not a micro brawler guy. And some of them go for big money. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of money behind you. Hopefully you got that insured or something like that. I don't know how that works, but
0%.
Fair enough.
Just buy
How's fire gonna ruin my life?
What does Jordan talk about? Kyle on cloud 9? No, I am sober and I'm
with
drinking
with the boys. Are you on cloud 9 because the full panel is back?
Yes, I am definitely on cloud 9 because the vibes are immaculate here at OTM. The OTM trio reunited once again here for episode 202, guys. Don't forget, we got a discount code going on at the onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. If you use promo code MITB, that stands for Money in the Bank. You already knew that. You will save 10% off of your order. Tucky, if you had to pinpoint your favorite piece of merch that we have to offer that somebody should go out and purchase, what would it be?
Okay, so old school pick, not necessarily super relevant. It's the honorary Mark shirt. That is my favorite shirt of all time. Snappy, witty, good fitting. I love the honorary Mark shirt. I sneaky affection for the Bryan Danielson appreciation shirt too, because that was an idea that I thought it was witty. I enjoy it. I like the subtle gray. He was white t-shirt guy. Now he's kind of got away from that a little bit, but
yeah.
I'll tell you what, I do think, with my summer school schedule, we're in the works for like an OTM logo rebrand, new shirt design, something.
Maybe. I was thinking we changed something up.
Well, on the Mark baseball script with a tail on a 3/4 length shirt, something like that. There's things.
A baseball themed jersey would be kind of sick.
We're baseball guys,
cool.
wiffle boys, baseball guys. We're
cool.
We're for that life, yeah.
That's actually how this all started, people. If you haven't heard the story, we met through wiffle ball, and we all found out we like wrestling. So me and Tuck were like, "Hey, let's start a podcast." And then Ian eventually made his way into the group. I don't know how that happened, but thanks to Erica
everybody knows how it happened. We spent time together and then introduced the wiffle there. It is a movement. We built an entire wiffle ball field at Couts for it to be up for about a month before the school board shut it down because they didn't approve us making a hodgepodge wiffle ball field kind of thing.
And it actually looked good.
It was dope.
Stupid. It was so stupid.
Yeah.
That would have been cool. Fuck
yeah. Oh, yeah, it was.
Yeah,
for about 2 games.
Yeah, 2 games. It was a good run that you guys had. Kind does have a question before I shill some more. He said, Tucky, what would you do if you came home from work and your son opened up a very expensive figure?
I'm like a big silent rage guy now. So like Ian's not familiar with Coach Tucker from Couts being a silent rage guy. I was a little more of a kind of a vocal.
You beg to differ, don't you?
I beg to differ.
What do you mean?
If you went quiet during a game, you were angry.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So
I've heard some stories about Coach Tuck. I mean, I got to see one game where Ian was actually playing and Tuck was coaching, but that was enough of a taste.
So I think, if the slightly impressed, maybe, because the most valuable ones are the highest up. So I've got Ultimates down there, but like if he got one of my good ones, if he pulled the signed Shawn Michaels or Bret Hart, the signed Cody, I might be impressed because he would have to do some parkour or shenanigans.
Well, then you would have to get him training for wrestling because then he could be in Money in the Bank at that point.
He could be the next Jeff Hardy.
I told Miss that I'm not going to put the idea into his head that, hey, you could try this too.
Would be pretty cool.
If he says, hey, I want to be that when I grow up, we are going to do our best to figure it out.
We got some connections. Maybe OTM can give him the rub. So
we'll see.
By then, who knows? We could blow up and be getting paid for this stuff, which would be nice. But
little by little.
The only way that we can get there is if you support us, and you can do so by going to the onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Also, we are a new WWE shop affiliate. I'm going to flash that QR code right up on our screen. And if you scan that QR code, use that link to get your new WWE Wyatt 6 t-shirt, maybe a Jacob Fatu. I don't know. They got a lot of new cool merch coming out. It's not your typical merch that you would see. And look, Tuck's showing you right there. It works.
Right
Simple
there.
as that.
Free shipping on orders over $24. Let's see what Tucky buys today.
Uh-oh, here he goes.
Yeah.
While he's doing that, I have a quick suggestion. Is it possible to get our good old Jim Tucker's book onto our own shop? Is that a possibility?
I don't think so, no. Because I have to create my own stuff.
It's an Amazon, yeah. That would be cool.
But if you go to Amazon, all you got to do is search the book title. Is that right?
Food Fights. Yes.
Food Fights?
Food Fights by Jim Tucker. It's a great one.
Yeah. Kind says when Twitch pays him, he's going to look into buying a shirt with your affiliate link. See, there you go, Kind. You are supporting OTM. You're here every single week, and we greatly appreciate you. We appreciate everybody in the chat right now. So when we get into our Money in the Bank predictions, leave us your predictions as well in the comments section. And if you want to get involved in our contest, yes, we are bringing it back. Since Tucky is back, he created bit.ly/OTMITB24. It is on the screen right now for those that may be listening at a later time.
1M.
We also will send that, 1M. We will send that out on our socials as well. Guys, do we even know who our champion is?
I was going to ask the same thing. I don't know.
Tuck, do you know who the OTM PLE champion is by chance?
I think it's Vogus.
You actually might be right.
Maybe.
I will go through text, but I'm pretty sure you might be right.
I think it's Vogus.
We could check the OTM Twitter.
You missed. You missed one, and he had a perfect card. That was my response. Gags
I
like,
think you're right.
he must have been perfect because I only missed one. I feel like there was like a reply to that. Like Vogus was the only one to go up and down the card. But forms are back. Predictions are back. It's an exciting time.
It is. And we have 5 matches to talk about. Love how the WWE is sticking to it with these 5 to 6 match cards. It's not going to be a 4.5-hour show like we experienced on Sunday with Forbidden Door, which, by the way, Forbidden Door was a pretty solid show, Ian. Before we get into Money in the Bank, do you have any overall thoughts on the Forbidden Door pay-per-view?
I mean, I thought it was the definition of a good, not fantastic AEW pay-per-view. Obviously, the biggest takeaway was the main event. I think that entire pay-per-view was surrounded and kind of encapsulated that entire main event. Not a lot of actually no title changes at all. Oh, no, right, I take it back. Moxley lost.
Naito?
Yeah. That match was not
and Vaquer dropped the New Japan Strong title to Mercedes.
So AEW, no AEW titles were changed. Let's say that. But the main event was just absolutely
It definitely was. I enjoyed the show, like you said. Good, not great. A couple good matches, couple stinkers, but overall, I think I got my money's worth. Tuck, did you get a chance to watch Forbidden Door this past
Hell
week?
yeah!
Oh yeah, you told me.
I thought it was a quick moving show in that not all 15 matches were over 20 minutes, and it's like Tony Khan also has a track record. Like I do think he tries to earn the $50. I do think that is why every AEW show is going to be longer until they get on a $10 network too, and go monthly. It makes sense. Both sides make sense. The AEW structure makes sense because they're not as frequent. The WWE side makes sense because they are so frequent and we're not paying. But it felt like a pretty quick, the pacing was good to me. I loved the Tony Storm match. Loved Britt Baker's return. Loved people shitting on Jericho. Thought that was kind of funny. But I do think that's intended response. Like I think he's trying to be in it and do that.
That's the rib.
Yeah, main event was great. We'll see. I was excited to hear that New Japan's going to do a Forbidden Door style show in January. Nice. So we've got Ricochet heading that way. We'll see. I'm starting to care a little bit more. And Gags is no longer frozen. Okay, he was very frozen for a second.
I come in and out. It's just what happens. You just got to get used to it. I'll be back. That's all that matters, as Arnold Schwarzenegger once said.
Be back.
There it is. Don't forget to show some love to the Main Event Wrestling Network. A lot of things happening this week, especially today. Turnbuckle Talk Zone just released a new episode. You see Kine in the chat. He is one half of that show. I believe the Wrestling Junkies are still alive. They had a couple special guests on their show today. So just a lot of good stuff going on over there. If you want to be a part of it or just check out and support the network, you can follow us at mainevent_net on all of our socials. But guys,
Main Event in the Bank.
What do you say we get into Money in the Bank?
Money.
And we're going to start off with some six.
You said it like Borat, though. Very nice.
Money.
Yeah. I like money.
She should cut that in a promo now. That'd be good.
Very nice.
Maybe she'd be likable then.
You know, we got a comment here from Chris saying Dakota Kai deserves better. So here's the thing, guys. You both know how much I love Dakota Kai. Big Dakota Kai fan. It's going to be fine. Obviously, there's a bigger story at play here. They are leaning into the fact that she has never gotten that singles opportunity. Michael Cole mentioned it on commentary on Monday Night Raw. There's going to be something for Dakota to do in the near future. I'm not worried about her. Sure, would I have liked to see her in this match? She wasn't going to win.
But what, though? Like, And my
That's
response
not for
is
me to do.
also,
That's
like,
not
who
for me to
cares?
do.
Not a Dakota Kai guy.
She's kind of the odd one out in the
Damage
faction
control.
in damage control. I would say
She's
she's the odd
white?
one out now. Well, yeah.
She-
I mean,
I actually think she's from New Zealand, so technically not white. Right?
No, what?
okay,
No.
let's stop.
I'm talking like American one. Now we're just talking about race. Let's get
We're
to
gonna-
this first matchup.
Before we get canceled, let's talk about the Bloodline versus Cody,
We've
KO,
already
and
talked
Randy
about
Orton.
black. We were talking about white. We're talking about all the colors over here. We got the
All
new
my fault.
Bloodline taking on Cody Rhodes, Kevin Owens, and Randy Orton. This one's interesting because obviously Cody will not be defending his title here at this PLE. I'm assuming he's definitely going to have a big match at SummerSlam, but I think what happens here in this 6-man is going to tell us a lot of what we are going to be seeing in the near future, Tucky. So looking at this on the surface level, you got a very solid team with the champ, KO, and Randy Orton. There's history between Cody Rhodes and Randy. How do you think that all plays into this, and who do you think is going to get the victory here at Money in the Bank?
Okay, here's where wrestling gets kind of fun because, like, if you add Cody, KO, and Randy Orton and do the WWE 2K24 like team overall, 90, 93, 92, you've got, again, like Randy Orton's not going to strike at a 98. KO's not going to. So, in my opinion, Cody's like a 98. KO's like an 88. And Randy's like a 93. So you kind of meet him in the middle. With the Bloodline, Tama Tonga and Tongaloa 77, 79, 81. You give Solo an 86 and 87. So straight up, it should be Cody, KO, and Randy Orton straight away. You're going to say something, Gags.
Is Solo the one in this match, though? I was wondering if it was Jacob Fatu. To be honest with you, I didn't even look to see which members of the Bloodline were participating. So if you guys can find that, Ian, I'll let you figure that out because Tucky.
Ian's going to be on the prowl, and if it is Jacob Fatu, then it's still like an 80, right? Because he doesn't have the established. I also think that there's shenanigans for the Bloodline to further cement why they are the way they are and how they're doing it. I'm going with the Bloodline here, and Cody, Randy Orton or KO is going to eat the pin. Something tragic will happen to Cody to kind of allocate or give him a pass. And we'll see how it goes. I think the Bloodline wins, and I don't want them to. They are mean. They are bad.
Mean. They're running shop over there. They just took out Paul Heyman, so our thoughts go out to him. We probably won't be seeing him until the Tribal Chief returns, but yeah, it'll be interesting to see who participates. But regardless, I feel like whoever is not in the trios match will be involved somewhat in this finish, whether that's costing the babyface team or not. Ian, you got any clarification on the participants for sure? Or have they even not announced it yet? Maybe they're going to tell us at the show.
I think they're going to tell us at the show because everything I am looking at right now is just saying the Bloodline, and it's saying they've added the ranks of Jacob Fatu.
They are all on the graphics, so maybe it's just like a Freebird thing where they'll figure it out.
And it has all four on one side, but it's not like a manager in the corner kind of thing, kind of look. So honestly, no clue at this point.
Maybe somebody in the comments section knows if they've said which three are going to be participating. But nonetheless, Ian, who do you think is going to be winning this 6-man tag match?
I mean, if it's up to me, it's the Bloodline's got to stay strong. They have to be solidified as that lethal threat, and they are the solidified tag team. Maybe this is when you start grabbing hints of Cody going against Randy Orton in the future. Otherwise, I don't really see a reason for Cody, KO, or Randy Orton to win. I don't see any long-term help in that case, so I'm going to go with the Bloodline winning.
You mentioned the possibility of maybe Randy Orton is the reason they lose and he turns. It seems like the doc would like to see that. He said, please, Orton, heel turn here. I feel like it's sadly going to be Solo in a singles match versus Cody. I think a lot of people are in agreement there. So got to roll with a new Bloodline win. Kind says, banger tag match here. Bloodline has to win. They built them up. They got to keep this run going until Roman returns, which is absolutely 100% true. He says Kevin takes the pin to Solo, keep the momentum going up and up. And I think I agree with Kine here. It's got to be the Bloodline. They are the faction on Friday Night SmackDown. And since there is no title involved in this match whatsoever, if Cody Rhodes is involved in the loss, granted, he's not going to be the one that takes the pin. There's no way they're going to do that. it's still not going to hurt Cody Rhodes. And hell, it's not going to hurt Kevin Owens or Randy Orton if they are the ones to take the pin in this matchup, because they're invincible at this point. They're superstars. So, yeah, I agree with the chat. I think it's going to be a great 6-man tag. I think the Bloodline really needs to shine here. This is a very important match for what was their tag team in New Japan? But I'm just going to say Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga.
Gorillas of Destiny.
Gorillas of Destiny, which is what I wish they called them still in the WWE, because it's a very good tag.
WWE sought a patent or a trademark for it.
Oh, did they really?
Haven't used it to this point. There was some seeking. B-level pay-per-view in another country. Is there a debut here?
Maybe.
I don't know.
There's more of them.
Hikuleo has been rumored to be going to WWE. He's like 6'8", big dude, but maybe they're saving him to be on Roman's side when they eventually do the Civil War match that we're expecting. Sense. That's what I think, at least.
That would make sense.
I get what you're saying, because in these international PLEs, it seems like we always get a debut.
There's a punchy, poppy kind of thing that also makes you want to watch, along with the sweetened 5-card. Like, I love them.
Yeah, and Kyne's saying that it is Solo, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. So you have to assume that Jacob Fatu is going to be lurking ringside. Tony says Tonga Loa can't be in this match because he would probably show up late to it anyways, like his debut spot.
Well, and can Fatu travel out of the country? That was it. That's always been a thing. He's a criminal, former criminal. He's got a past. He's got a history. So he might not even be in the building.
I just want to bring up Tony's comment really quick. Yeah. He's saying it's looking like Solo and Cody for the singles. And that's gonna be taking away the Orton heel turn. I don't think the Orton heel turn would be on Cody right away. I think you have to solidify him back as a major heel again. And because I feel like KO and Orton's relationship felt like the Jericho KO relationship of the past. Mm-hmm. And they never really got to tell that story in its fullest. So in the grand scheme of things, maybe that's the route they go, and then inevitably go to Cody versus Orton, maybe at a Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think eventually we are going to get to Orton versus Cody. I just think this is a little too soon probably to pull the trigger. So I'm agreeing with you there for sure. But eventually, maybe this loss is what's going to start that, that dissension between the two. You saw Randy Orton eyeing the title the other week, so they're planting the seeds for sure. But Tony has a question for us. He says, my question is, where does The Rock play into this, with or without Roman Reigns? Got to assume without Reigns. And yes, The Rock's going to be the heel whenever he eventually comes back.
Give it some time. Give it some more time. They're making you want to forget. I think now that they took out Heyman, it's forget about him for a little while and let the new bloodline take over in the eyes of the fans. Let that happen, and it's just going to make Roman returning with Heyman probably in winter time.
I kind of hope
it's going to be insane.
Yeah, I think it would be fun if Heyman went on a rampage, built his own team. You know what I mean? Like, instead of cowering, because the last time he was like, he got thrown through a table. So like Heyman putting his foot down and saying, I'm tired of this. This is enough. And goes and tries to build his own monsters to defeat the bloodline. You don't need Roman for that. I don't think that is big picture. I don't think that, but I think that would be fun where Heyman gets it, because his character work is great. Like, his commitment to the job is there. I think that would be fun. I think people would get behind it too.
Oh, everybody's going to be behind whatever Paul Heyman does next. They instantly turned him into a babyface, and it's just going to be a surreal moment to hear that reaction that Roman Reigns is going to get because of all the fickle fans that were hating on this man before he became the tribal chief. I want to put it on the record, because I like doing that I've been a day one Roman Reigns guy. You all are bandwagoners that are hopping on the tribal chief. I was with the big dog. When he was getting booed after winning the Royal Rumble, booed at WrestleMania, I was cheering for that man.
Well, you were in the wrong then. You're in the right now.
People make mistakes, dude. It's okay. That's all right. We're human. Gags, you made a mistake. It's all right. You can make mistakes. There are wrestlers I used to like that maybe I don't like anymore. Maybe, it is what it is.
Can you think one on the top of your head?
Oh, plenty of them. Let me see here.
Yeah, let me just look at the wall of the 300 wrestlers I got.
You used to like him, but don't like him now. Hangman Adam Page. He soured on me. I used to be a big Hangman Page guy.
CM Punk.
And he's just quieted to me. Yes, CM Punk.
Fair enough.
He's still growing on me. I don't know.
Tony, suffering succotash was most definitely a Vince line, so I'm not going to put that on Roman Reigns. But that was a terrible time when Roman was cutting promos like that.
I think a hot take of you used to really like him and have lost fondness would be John Moxley for me. Used to be a huge Moxley guy, and now
his matches
not so much.
Don't move the needle for me anymore.
Not as much as they used to be.
I just wish they would display him as Mr. AEW. Then I would like him a lot because I think they need that guy still. That's like Mr. AEW. That's Will Ospreay right now.
They need Mr. AEW versus Mr. OTM versus Mr. Cincinnati in a triple threat match.
You're dead.
You're gonna bleed a million.
I bleed for the BCC.
Oh, you're gonna bleed. Moxley will definitely bleed in the match. You guys will definitely get color on him, but I don't think it's that close. I think he might get color on himself. He might do it to himself as he's beating the shit out of both of you.
With my
with
blood,
all due
that's
respect,
probably what he would do. Yeah,
that makes it okay, right? With all due respect.
Yeah, with all the love.
He will fucking murder you. With all due respect,
you stand no chance. With no respect.
No thanks, guys. I'll pass. But I am very excited for this next match that we're going to talk about for the Intercontinental Championship. Sami Zayn's looking to defend his title against the uprising star of Bron Breakker, who, man, ever since he's gotten that call up, they have treated him right. He looks like an absolute monster. Just seeing him run around the ring and trying to kill people. I mean, when Sami evaded him on Monday Night Raw, that was a cool spot too. That was a nice little touch. The build has been solid, but Ian, I'm going to go to you first. This is a tough one to predict because, you know, Sami Zayn did end the longest reign of Gunther at WrestleMania. He's only about 80-something days into his reign. You still got a big PLE coming up in Cleveland. Is now the time to put the IC title on Bron Breakker?
I think it is. I think this... No, okay. I'm not going to say it could be a squash match, but I wouldn't be shocked if it happened. Because I feel like there are some matches on this card that could go a long distance, hence the Bloodline, KO, Randy Orton.
The ladder matches.
In the ladder matches as well. This is the time to solidify Bron Breakker as the guy, not a forced push of, hey, look at him, he's beating up somebody. This is like the, okay, yeah, he's legitimate. He just won the title. Don't know who he'd face after. I think you still have some big meaty men who are ready to bump meat. Oh, yeah, Sheamus too. Sheamus too after the ladder match would be nice.
Get Ludwig Kaiser in there too. Hell, I wouldn't even be opposed to them running back a ladder match for the IC title at SummerSlam.
Wouldn't hate that. Yeah, but I mean, this is the moment right here to solidify Bron Breakker as the guy who's coming up. So,
Kind says, is it crazy to say Braun should win this? No, it's not crazy to say that because I'm kind of thinking it too, Ian. And listen, I'm a big Sami Zayn guy. I was totally okay with him defeating Gunther at WrestleMania. He plays that underdog role very well. But the way I look at this is that at SummerSlam, I'm personally expecting a lot of titles to change. So if you don't change this title right here, right now, this is another title that's probably going to change at SummerSlam because I think eventually Bron Breakker is going to get this Intercontinental Championship. Like you said, Ian, you got to capitalize on all this buzz. I don't know the numbers that he's doing, but I'm assuming on social media, whenever he does something cool, people are watching it. People are tuning in to see Bron Breakker. It might be a little bit too soon, and granted, he's in his home country, that being Sami Zayn in Canada. It's a very conflicting match. Yeah, it does make it better, but I think I'm going to go with Bron Breakker here. My least confident pick, but it's definitely something that I think needs to happen, and I would love to see what they could do with him in that title.
Tucky, just one more thing I got to add on. So like you said, with the buzz that he's having right now, at the same time too, like his biggest thing that's getting him attention is the speed going in and out of the ring, just speed in general. That has a time limit on it before it becomes like, okay, we get it. He runs really fast. I think that has more of an affinity than the buzz he's getting online. Just the fact that he has something right now that really hasn't been seen before. You capitalize on that now.
Yeah, no, I agree. That could get old. And Chris is thinking that Sami Zayn's going to retain because it's not Braun Breaker time. Tucky, what are your thoughts?
Because both of you went with Braun Breaker, I don't. That doesn't mean I'm going to go Sami Zayn when I do the form, but I will argue for him here, and I'll say I'll take Sami Zayn to retain. There's something about like Braun Breaker at SummerSlam for me that I think happens, but I think Sami retaining. He's got a little bit more ring savvy, some ring IQ, that kind of stuff that you could argue. Is he going to do the like wear the dynamic athlete down kind of thing? Can he out cardio him? You look at Sami Zayn's body, you look at Braun Breaker. I don't know that Sami Zayn's going to out cardio many people, but hey, he's a work. You know what I mean? He is a professional wrestler known for putting on bangers. I think this is going to be a great match. I'm really excited to see it. Sami Zayn to retain.
I also wouldn't be surprised if this ended in a DQ finish just to set up something in the near future. I mean, we've seen how erratic Braun Breaker can be. He could do something very stupid in this match to cost him the title, and then eventually he'll get that rematch. But yeah, I totally agree with what you're saying, Tuck. I think this could steal the show. Like,
because you have to think, the other thing to consider that we could probably round table with this one is like, who wins who's next with SummerSlam being in a month. Like, that's the next big thing. The
Sheamus
WrestleMania
is the one
of the
jumps
summer.
off to me.
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
Again,
they've been kind of teasing it against Braun Breaker. I think Sheamus versus Braun Breaker is a great Intercontinental Championship match.
I'd agree.
Yeah,
That's a good win for Braun Breaker if he holds it. Sami Zayn wins it. Where do you go?
Then I go a multi-man match. I think if Kaiser's healthy, I think Kaiser's kind of been in that scene as well.
Ilya
Maybe
too.
do a fatal four-way. Ilya, yeah, that's another name. Jeez, you got a lot of options. They could do a lot of good stuff with that.
They could do that with Braun Breaker too. Ilya, Ludwig, and Braun Breaker. That's a fun. It would
dynamic.
then kind of give the Intercontinental Championship a different feel to it, like the Cruiserweight title in WCW, which was one of my favorite titles. So interesting. There are things that could happen with that.
A lot of things that could happen in this match. Doc says he agrees with you, Ian. Braun was doing the same thing when he was Braun Strowman, that is, when he was running around the ring and barreling into someone. Look where he ended up. It's a good point.
His face got put onto a train, and that became a T-shirt. That's what came out of that.
Tuck loved that. The intro for Braun Strowman, didn't you? I remember when we were recording episodes. You were a big fan.
No,
Strowman Express, baby. Let's go. Fucking chew. Let's do it.
Kind's fantasy booking. He said, let's do Elimination Chamber, Braun, Ludwig, Sheamus, Ilya, Bronson, Reed, and Gable.
Don't hate that.
I'm not against that.
Elimination Chamber, you become the number one contender for. Well, I think this year they did it for a mid-card title, wasn't it?
It was for.
Was it the tag titles, I think?
No,
Elimination Chamber for.
They've done the tag titles, Elimination Chamber matches. Yeah,
they did a women's title contender match, but they've done intercontinental titles before.
Yeah, I think they have. So it's not out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Sheamus, old boy in that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He's the vet. You got to have one of those in there, right? One more comment here from Kind. They did give an opportunity to face the women's title at Mania. Okay, so that is confirmed. But speaking of the women, why don't we get into women's Money in the Bank? And it really is an exciting field that we got here, guys. You got Chelsea Green, Io Sky, who won it last year, the newcomer Lyra Valkyria, Naomi, Tiffany Stratton, and the person who just recently was added, Zoe Stark, after defeating Ivy Nile and Dakota Kai on Monday Night Raw. When I look at this field, there are two names that stand out above the rest. One, obviously, being Tiffany Stratton. I think we all are going to agree that Tiffany Stratton is probably the favorite in this matchup. It just makes a lot of sense. It fits her gimmick so well. If she's carrying around a pink briefcase, she literally has next in the women's division. Everybody can see it. Everybody loves Tiffy. It's Tiffy time. But in my heart, I'm thinking Chelsea Green is the perfect candidate for a Money in the Bank briefcase. Everything that Chelsea Green has done since her return to the WWE has been absolutely fantastic. She is one of the more entertaining people on the WWE roster. If you give her that briefcase, not only does that take her to the next level, but I think you get a comedic side to the cash-ins with Chelsea and maybe even with Piper by her side.
Ian, can you read this comment, please?
Tiffy or no?
Damn it.
Tiffy or
No.
Riot, though I will accept Chelsea Green.
Yeah, that's the guy you call upon for that.
I know. That's why I picked you.
No.
He wanted to put you on the spot.
Gags would do it.
Yeah, I'll do anything for $5. So make sure you Venmo me Too Sweet Kyle. Thanks, Tony. But looking at the rest of the field before I give my pick, Io Sky, I don't think she's going to win it back-to-back years, even though I wouldn't be mad if she did. Lyra is probably my number 3 on my power rankings, just because I think it could do a lot for her and make her a credible superstar in that women's division. Unfortunately for Naomi, I just don't see a spot where she wins, even though a glow-up LED briefcase would be sick. I'd be here for it. And Zoe Stark, we'll see. You have no chance. I like Zoe Stark, but there's just absolutely no chance she's winning. My pick, I've been flip-flopping. I'm going to go with Chelsea Green. Fuck it. I'm going with Chelsea Green to win Women's Money in the Bank because I think it would be the most entertaining option. And Tiffany can still find a way to get into the title scene just because she's awesome as it is without that briefcase. So I think Chelsea needs this more. Give it to Chelsea Green. That's my pick, Tuck.
That is not a pick I predicted you to make. I thought you were going to agree with me. My pick has a couple reasons. A, I'm going Tiffany Stratton. It is Tiffy time. She also has the most marketable briefcase option out there. The pink Tiffy briefcase will be bought by men and women. The glowy briefcase would not sell the way the Tiffy it wouldn't sell like Tiffy's. I think Tiffy's briefcase would outsell Naomi's. And I deep down kind of want Chelsea Green to win. And here's the thing about that. Nikki ASH won a Money in the Bank. People forget. So like they will go places with this. The argument with Chelsea Green is you could also like a legitimate failed cash in, and I don't think we've ever had one of those. So there's a stat depending on depending on what Triple H wants to do with his creative side. I'm going Tiffy. I think it'll be fun. I have high expectations. And with the women's matches, they are often ambitious, kind of fearless. So
and you got a lot of people that could do some fun stuff. Io Sky, Naomi, Lyra, Tiffany, Zoe. The only one in this match that's not known for high spots is Chelsea Green. That's about it. Everybody else can go.
And she will.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she can definitely mix it up for sure. Mr. Wrinkles with a comment. Love that name, by the way. Ludwig Kaiser will interrupt the Intercontinental title match. Payback for the spear.
Okay.
Maybe.
Yeah. Don't hate it.
He runs in, gets speared. Sami Zayn beats Bron Breakker.
That'd be a way to get the match to SummerSlam.
That is a way.
What happens with Ludwig? That's the name of this game. What happens with Ludwig?
He dies.
Well, hopefully he's okay because I know he got injured a couple weeks ago. And he might die from another spear. Who knows? But like Tony's saying, imagine Chelsea's interactions with Pierce and Aldis as Money in the Bank winner. It would just be must-see TV. But Mr. Wrinkles also agrees it's Tiffy time. I mean, it's smart money is on Tiffany Stratton here, Ian, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I'm just going to start off. That's my pick. It's Tiffany Stratton. I think they need something over on SmackDown for the women's division that is must-see TV. And I think Tiffany Stratton with that briefcase will be very entertaining. At the same time, you have Raw with Chelsea Green. That could be a way the WWE rewarding Chelsea Green for her time while she's been back, because I think she's been very, very good and entertaining. To be that much more entertaining and kind of can't miss TV. I don't think Liv Morgan is a dominant champ, so you're always watching the screen saying, maybe Chelsea could interrupt here, cash it in anytime here. But yeah, like you said, there's a lot of entertainment here, and I don't appreciate the Zoe Stark hate. I wish she would have a rebrand.
I like Zoe Stark.
I think
she has
no chance.
Well, I mean, in this case, I'm just saying in general, her character is what if you want to call it a character? There is nothing there.
It's not. Yeah,
she's working on it.
She's Shayna's friend, but she is talking to Sonya Deville. I don't know if you guys noticed that in the backstage segments. They're teasing it, so maybe that gets into play here. I don't know.
But also at the same time, I think the third favorite probably would be Lyra.
Yes.
That's
Obviously,
terrifying.
they are pushing her to the moon.
Mr. Wrinkle's picture is terrifying.
Oh,
Put it back up.
Is it? Put it back up. What is that? A scary clown?
that's Mr. Wrinkles.
Mr. Wrinkles likes to yell when he talks too. But he's right. Chelsea is super charismatic.
Part of the why it's 6.
Chris, you already told us that, bud. We already addressed that situation. Dakota Kai.
Chris Big Mad. They call him Chris Big Mad Leclerc.
That rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So we got 2 people going with Tiffy time. I'm going with Chelsea Green to win women's Money in the Bank. Let's move on here.
Who's your third? Out of nowhere, Triple H gets crazy. The third, is it Lyra out of that
Lyra,
group?
yeah,
Like,
Lyra.
Yes, Lyra would be my third.
Yeah.
Naomi would probably
Maybe
be
Naomi.
4.
Yeah.
Naomi would probably be 4. What were the other?
Io doesn't need it.
Io would be 5, and
Yeah.
Zoe would be 6.
Yeah.
That's my power rankings. But we'll find out. Hey, Money in the Bank is the perfect opportunity for somebody that's really not being built strong to just become credible right there and then.
Yeah.
So you never
You're gonna
know.
think about it.
You are going to think about it, just like I'm thinking about this next match, because Monday Night Raw really put my mind in the blender with all the teases that they had with Damian Priest and Finn Balor. The match that we were talking about, though, is between El Campeon, Damian Priest, the World Heavyweight Champion, who will be taking on the former champion, Seth freaking Rollins. Just to set the table a little bit, Tuck, before we get to your predictions. Obviously, if you watch Monday Night Raw, you saw Liv was once again hanging out with Finn Balor in the Judgment Day in the clubhouse. Then Finn Balor tried to interfere or tried to get involved with Seth Rollins, and Damian Priest came out there and they had an exchange of words. So a lot of things are happening behind the scenes here that make this match pretty interesting, don't you think?
I do, and that's why it's tough to pick one. Am I the one to go first here?
You are. I went.
Oh, jeez, boys. I think Seth Rollins is going to win. Like, I'm biting on the Finn Balor Damian Priest ish. So that's why I'm going Seth Rollins. Man, what a story for the Judgment Day, from where they started to where they are now. And you would think losing a WWE Hall of Famer from a faction would be a big deal. And sheesh. I'm going Seth Rollins.
Yeah, it's an interesting one, Ian. Are you going to stick to your guns? I know originally you were on the Priest bandwagon, but did Monday Night Raw change your thoughts at all?
Honestly, here's where I stand on it with the Finn and Damian Priest kind of situation. I think there's much more to it. They just scratched the surface of this falling to Judgment Day. It's not going to happen here. I think this will be a clean. Maybe Finn comes out, but I don't think it's going to have any decision in who wins this match. Seth just came back as well. Doesn't need to have the title right back on him. He's the longest reigning champ for this title, so that's still going to stand for a long, long time, probably for forever, honestly. My only certainty I know of this is I could care less about this match. I think these promos have been complete garbage, but that's just me. This Monday was not great. Besides throwing in Finn Balor to the mix. But like I said, I think eventually this will be Finn Balor versus Damian Priest for that title, so I'm going to have Priest retain here.
You know what? I originally thought that was going to be the direction they were going to go, Damian Priest versus Finn Balor for that title, but now that Finn Balor is one half of the tag team champions, I'm starting to think differently here. And when you look at SummerSlam, you know Gunther's waiting for whoever wins this match. He's got that title shot for this title. What match sounds better? Damian Priest versus Gunther or Seth Rollins versus Gunther? I think we all would agree Seth Rollins versus Gunther is probably going to be the better match. And with what all we saw on Monday Night Raw, it's going back to what Tuck says. I'm biting on it. And it could be a rouge, you know? This could just be
Rouge?
to get us second thing. Yeah.
Rouge.
It could just get us second guessing about who is going to win, because when this match was announced, I immediately said, oh, Damian Priest, retain. We move on. But I think Liv Morgan is going to be the reason that Damian Priest loses his World Heavyweight title at Money in the Bank. Not only will Finn Balor come out, I think Finn Balor and Liv, them two, are in cahoots. I think that's the sneaky link for Liv She's, showing all the love on screen for Dominic Mysterio. But I think behind the scenes, it's actually Finn and Liv working together. And I think they want to see the split because there is that stipulation. If Damian Priest loses this match, he has to leave the Judgment Day. And if Seth Rollins loses, he can no longer challenge for Damian Priest's world title. That's just with Priest holding that title. So Seth Rollins could obviously get back in the title picture with somebody else. But nonetheless, I'm biting, Tuck. They got the hook out. I'm taking the bait. I'm going with Seth Rollins to become the World Heavyweight Champion here at Money in the Bank.
It's interesting.
I'm glad you brought up the stipulations because now that you say them out loud, I'm firmly behind Damian Priest winning. There's so much leniency with that stipulation for Seth Rollins losing. It's like, okay, Priest shouldn't. I mean, he's expected to lose a title at any point now. I don't think he's been holding his bargain with holding that title. Hasn't done a great job, and I think there's a lot of more guys that could step up for that position. So I think that's just that firmly puts my selection in.
Fair enough. Kind says Damian has to win this. Keep this Judgment Day feud cooking. Seth doesn't need it. Let him lose and turn heel and get a new gimmick. I get that critique. A lot of people think Seth Rollins right now is stale. I kind of agree with them there. But it's just on paper, man. Gunther versus Rollins does a lot for me, and Priest versus Gunther doesn't do as much.
Could make Priest, which is weird to say, as the champion, but that match could make Priest.
This would be a huge win over Seth Rollins for sure.
No, I'm saying if he got there and faced Gunther, Gunther is the challenger and the up and comer, could make Priest, which is not something you would normally say. I think.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And a win over Seth Rollins, obviously.
This has me all sorts of confused because of Gunther getting the title shot at SummerSlam. Seth versus Gunther makes more sense, face versus heel, but also, are we sure Gunther wins it right away? Maybe they save that for Bash at the Berlin, and he doesn't even win at SummerSlam.
Yeah, especially with Damian Priest having Judgment Day behind him. Well, that's if you're talking Seth Rollins having the title.
Or what about this? What Mr. Wrinkles is saying. What if it's Jey Uso? I'm assuming Mr. Wrinkles has Jey Uso winning Money in the Bank, cashing in, and facing Gunther at SummerSlam. I wouldn't hate that.
It is a way to get the title off Priest without him leaving the Judgment Day.
And you could still have Priest cost Finn Balor his tag team titles after he's out of the Judgment Day because he's got beef with JD, and that keeps that feud going too. Damian Priest, the reason that JD and Finn lose those tag titles after Finn and Liv cost him the world title. I think it makes sense. I'd like to see it. And I think Tony agrees with Ian. Just never been a Priest guy, which is why I was mad last year when they gave him the briefcase over LA Knight. I think a lot of people are still mad about that, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, chat, are you mad?
Chat is mad.
The chat's about to fill up with a lot of all caps, yes. That's supposed to be. Yeah.
Mr. Wrinkles did hold off on doing all caps. He's gone to the lowercase. Congrats to Mr. Wrinkles.
Yeah, and Mr. Wrinkles is right. Gunther has already beaten 2 or 3 times already, so they definitely got some history. But I don't know if this is actually going to be the main event, but it is the main event for our predictions. So let's get into it. Men's Money in the Bank. You got main event Jey Uso, Carmelo Hayes, Andrade, Chad Gable, LA Knight, and Drew McIntyre. And Ian, I really like this field because there are a few guys on there that really haven't got their fair shot in the WWE that I would like to see with that Money in the Bank briefcase, and I think would definitely make them a big superstar. But with all that being said, where's your head at for this one? Because I'm kind of confused myself. I think there's a case for a lot of people in this match.
I think confusion is the right term for this. I will run through the names here.
Intrigue.
Intrigue.
Let's hear your power rankings, so to say.
All right, let's run through this here really quick. Jey Uso, obviously the favorite. I think there is a lot to be had with his name and his likeness at the moment.
Yeet in the bank.
Yes, that's about it.
Obviously, the favorite is an interesting statement. Hold on to that.
I think it is obviously the favorite. They've been marketing him. He's the poster guy. I think he's the favorite.
Hold on.
I'll keep going. Carmelo Hayes. Okay. He's still got some time. He's very young. Andrade. Chad Gable. I think there is a story that he is already in. I don't think he needs anything to do with this.
He's going to add to the match, but I agree.
Correct.
No shot.
Correct.
The White
also,
Six might be involved here.
That is true. Also, no one pointed out that I did not give any reasoning for Andrade because they have not given us any.
What is
either.
there exactly?
Exactly.
Nobody pointed it out. We understood.
Okay.
Yeah.
LA Knight, I think there's still the Logan Paul thing. That feud's already heating up. I like it a lot. It's very entertaining. He's got that fall back on. Drew McIntyre, the other favorite. Not the odds-on favorite, but another favorite. There's obviously the terms of CM Punk there, but I still think he's kind of written off with the attack in Chicago that Drew McIntyre handed him. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to the WWE and say that I don't think he's going to show himself. They haven't hinted at it there, but at the same time, they could surprise us with CM Punk there. So it's between Jey Uso and Drew McIntyre for me. I'm just going to go with he would be fantastic with the Money in the Bank, and it's going to be Jey Uso.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a popular pick too. But before I give mine, let's run to the chat real quick. Kind says 2 things could occur. AJ Lee or Punk cost Drew the briefcase, or Drew said he'd cash in the same night. So AJ Lee or Punk could cost Drew once he's cashed in or is attempting to cash in. Man, I don't want to see Drew McIntyre win the briefcase just to lose the cash in.
That would be fucking funny.
It's just a lot, that's a lot of shit that Drew's going to be going through that. But it would be funny, and it would be the perfect setup to that match at SummerSlam. I get it. Tony says, I would love to see LA Knight win, but again, seems like they're short-circuiting his rise to the top. Yeah, I mean, he probably will beat Paul for the U.S. title, but to me, he's ready for the top prize. Fair enough.
He was ready in the eyes of the fans, but now he's kind of cooled down a little bit. Not in his fault at all. I think at this point now, I'm okay. I'm happy with the U.S. title win.
Yeah. But, looking at this field, I agree with Ian. I think Jey Uso is the favorite to win personally. I just think there's a lot of good things that can come of it. You might not like Jey Uso if you're watching this show right now, but I think there is an audience for him. He is over like Rover. There's no denying it. Every time he comes out, he's a superstar. And I think he's a merch seller as well. And having Yeet in the bank, it's going to do a lot of numbers for them. And Jey Uso's main event, Jey Uso, that is his moniker. So the way to get back into the main event scene is winning Money in the Bank. Carmelo Hayes and Andrade, I like their upside, but I think it would be a little bit too much too soon with them. Like you said, Chad Gable's involved with the Wyatt Six. LA Knight's going to be going up against Logan Paul. Maybe even Logan costs him in this match at some point. Yep. The Drew McIntyre of it all is really what's got me confused because on paper, he is the biggest superstar in this match, the one with the world heavyweight, lineage, but something tells me they're going to continue this CM Punk, Drew McIntyre shenanigans where they cost each other. So I would not be surprised if we saw CM Punk here cost Drew McIntyre in some way. But with all that being said, it's not what I want to see. I'm not going to be mad if we do get it, but I am going with main event Jey Uso to win men's Money in the Bank. Tucky.
So you get to this point, and then the question is what happens next, right? Drew McIntyre wins. Who does he cash it? Does he cash in on Damian Priest, who he already basically beat?
That would be
CM
something.
Punk, Drew McIntyre for a title? Like there's something you could do that. Jey Uso, he's got the Money in the Bank. He does the long play to cash in on a member of the Bloodline. Somehow Cody drops the title. So like, I'm a little more confused with what happens, like what Jey Uso does with the briefcase. I think I'm going Drew McIntyre to like further cement who he is against CM Punk. I don't know. Could be for a title too. I don't know.
I'm glad. Yeah, I'm glad you brought up the future of it because now that I think about it, there's not anybody right away that Jey Uso can cash on. Drew McIntyre, it makes sense for him to try to cash it in the same night. He wants that title. Like, he would kill for that title.
And exactly what Kind said, right?
It just that does make a ton of sense. But at the same time, if you throw a Money in the Bank briefcase in at that Bloodline feud, when that eventually comes, like the Bloodline versus Bloodline, and you have a title in there, that you have Cody and Jey on the same, I guess, team or faces at the same time, that adds another twist. So in my eyes, they kind of both make the same sense because Jey Uso's the long-term Money in the Bank holder, but Drew McIntyre probably is going to cash in on the same night. Well, actually, he said he
I
would.
could see Jey Uso cashing in on the same night. I think it was Mr. Wrinkles that said Jey Uso versus Gunther. I don't think we've seen men's Money in the Bank cash in on the same night since like 2016. And I believe that was Dean Ambrose when he cashed in his Money in the Bank. They do it a lot for the women. Like the women's Money in the Bank, there hasn't been any long runs. So I would like to see a longer reign for whoever wins the women's Money in the Bank.
Carmella had a really long run.
That is true.
That's true.
It was
But there hasn't been a long
22.
there hasn't been a long run in a while. That is, a lot of been. You had the Liv Morgan cashed it. EO was same night, right?
Nikki
Or no?
was Monday Night Raw after.
EO was not same night, was she?
No, that was SummerSlam, but that's a month later.
Yeah.
And then you also had Alexa Bliss cash in Money in the Bank in Chicago.
Same
on Nia
night.
Jax.
Mhm.
Yeah. So it would be kind of annoying if they did that again on the women's side of things, but I wouldn't be mad if they did it on the men's. But nonetheless, I'm going with main event Jey Uso. So is Ian. Tuck and the chat seem to be going with Drew McIntyre, though. Going to be interesting to see. But Tuck, I think you got some fun betting odds for us to share. So let's see what the bookies saying are the favorites for these matches.
Yeah, so I think the fun part about the betting odds is like somebody has to make the line. So like does Bet Online have somebody who watches WWE intently to form, like they don't see the scripts, right? Like they don't know what's happening, but they're predicting. So for let's start with the 6-man tag. The Bloodline is favored -450.
That makes sense. That's fair.
Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton, and Kevin Owens are +275. In the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, the favorite is Damian Priest -250.
Those are
Seth Rollins
actually
+170.
kinda good odds for him.
Mm-hmm. In the Intercontinental title match, Bron Breakker is the favorite -130.
Oh, let's go.
Sami
Love that.
Zayn -110. So
Basically a penny.
yeah. Men's Money in the Bank. You want men's or women's first? Women's.
Yeah.
Who is the favorite?
Tiffany.
Yes, the number 2. So she's -200. Zoe Stark +160.
What did they know
Really?
that I don't know? What?
Chelsea Green +1200.
Come on.
Criminal. I'm putting $20 on that right now, and I'm walking out with a couple hundred.
Io Sky +900.
Makes sense.
So the only one who has worse odds is Naomi at +1400. Chelsea Green
Naomi.
buried big via Bet Online.
How is Zoe Stark so high on those odds? I don't understand.
What was Lyra at?
+800.
That's kind of good value right there.
Yeah,
though.
that's actually not bad either.
That's a sneaky one. And so in betting, if I'm correct, -200 means you have to bet 200 to win 100.
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
+800 means if you bet 100, you'll win 800.
Yes. You
No,
get your
if
money
you-
back. You could double it.
If you bet $1 on +800, you would win $8.
$8.
Yeah, so $100 would win you
Oh,
$800.
Yeah, that's what
yeah.
yeah.
So I think, dude, put 100 on
Yeah,
Chelsea
Chelsea.
Green. You got it. Or 10,
We're gonna
10
have
would win
Money
you
in the Bank
120.
then.
You know, yeah.
I'll buy a women's Money in the Bank briefcase if that is.
So that's kind of wild to me.
men's
The
one?
other thing that is wild to me is Andrade having better odds than Jey Uso.
Who is running this site?
Oh my god.
What is this?
It's an AEW
And
fan.
LA Knight and
Francis, the
Carmelo
English betting
Hayes
odds are better than the American.
and Chad Gable.
Oh my gosh.
Andrade is the second pick. Drew McIntyre -250. Andrade +350. LA Knight +600.
No chance.
Chad Gable +900.
No chance on that one either.
Jey Uso +1100.
They are losing money.
I'm printing
Carmelo
money.
Hayes with the longest odds of the night
makes sense.
+6,000.
I mean, why
I
not
don't
throw
even-
a couple bucks?
Yeah.
I
Why
will
not, right?
bet. I would like to bet $1, please.
Mellow in the bank.
$60 right there.
Come on now.
Why not? All right. Well, yeah, if Kind's right, maybe we should go to the English betting odds, because those odds were very interesting and very surprising. But I do know if those are real odds, I am putting all of my money on Chelsea Green, because that payout would be insane. But here we are, ladies and gentlemen, at the end of episode 202. What we do every episode is we award the MVM of OTM, the most valuable mark, the person that is providing the most quality comments, giving us great questions, and just being an overall good guy, just being a good brother or a good sister in the chat. And ladies and gentlemen, our MVM didn't even show up this week. The Great Brown Hope was a no-show, and he even tweeted back at us saying he will be there. He is not here. So we have a brand new MVM, ladies and gentlemen, and new MVM of the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast. The doctor will see you now. Congrats, Tony.
Ooh.
You are the OTM.
It's Tony
I
time.
love it. The current updated odds are much better.
Did we just change them?
The initial posted
changed
odds.
it? Was it Wikipedia and you
We were
changed
talking about them.
No, I just went to Bet Online because that article was posted, yesterday or something. So current odds as of 5 minutes, Chelsea Green plus 150. She is second best odds.
There it is.
Jey Uso plus 250. He is now the second best odds.
Yeah. Okay.
So the
That makes
current odds are in our favor. Damian Priest still favored. Bloodline still favored, and still essentially a pick 'em between Bron Breakker and Sami Zayn.
That makes a lot more sense. And apparently the Great Brown Hope just got off of work, so we can't be too mad at him. Obviously, work comes first. And the MVM himself said, "Oh, wow, let's go. Appreciate it, fellas." We appreciate you, good sir, and everybody else that was interacting with us. Obviously, this is not our normal time, our normal day, but with it being the 4th of July, we decided we were going to pop off with some Money in the Bank picks tonight, right before NXT, and NXT actually just started. So let's close things out and do a little bit of shilling here. Don't forget, onthemarkwrestlingpodcast.com. Ian, what is the promo code to use to save 10%?
That would be OTMITB
No.
2024.
Tuck, what would be the code you use on our merch site to save
Fuck.
10%?
Oh.
Money?
No, not that either.
Oh.
Guys, it's on the bottom ticker. MITB. The abbreviation for Money in the
Money
Bank.
juicy.
Use
Money
that
juicy.
code. As you can tell, listeners and viewers, I'm the one that sets up the promo codes over here.
Yeah.
This is how our boss treats us.
Hey,
I'm not a boss.
Ian can tell you the handle of the Bitly that I set up.
Could do that.
Bit.ly/ what is it?
Yeah,
OTM.
that one.
ITB 24.
Yep.
So you got
Nailed
that
it.
right at least?
Nailed
So
it.
yeah,
that was
see
a-
if you can dethrone Ryan Vogus and become the OTM PLE champion. Also, don't forget, we are a WWE shop affiliate, so celebrate 4th of July accordingly and celebrate Money in the Bank by using this QR code right here on the screen right now. Use that link. Go buy yourself some new merch for Money in the Bank. It's going to be a great weekend for us because we love wrestling and we think wrestling's great, right, guys?
It's
Oh, yeah.
It's okay. I like it.
Oh yeah. Big time.
It's okay. Any final remarks before we sign off, boys?
Oh, glad to be back. Full panel. You love it.
Ian?
I had fun.
Okay.
Yep, that's
Ian,
about it.
do another plug for the Main Event Wrestling Network. I forgot about it.
Okay, yeah, at @mainevent_net. If you are interested in, celebrating pro wrestling as we do every single week, please give us a message. Send us a message. You can see under our little face cams here, our little handles. Send any of us a DM if you want to be a part of a community and a family that makes content, creates any kind of content you want. Family, message us, because basically all we were trying to do is trying to get small creators to get a little bit bigger, because that's what it takes to grow in a community such as this. Yeah, we have fun.
We do. And Tucky, since you haven't been a part of these shows, I've had to do the outro. But I would much rather you go back to your old ways and please send us home, my friend.
Dude, it's been a minute, but let me tell you what, Money in the Bank coming up on Saturday. Looking forward to that. Also, day by day, getting closer. Thank you, Mr. Wrinkles. Never thought I'd be saying that tonight. Day by day, getting closer to the return trip back to Indiana. So looking forward to that. Gonna be a great time. We do have to go to Zayo Island, get the mini golf in, and then excited to take the Tucker boys to a Black Label Pro show, seeing Jinder Mahal and Cameron Grimes. So
Cameron Grimes.
Dad, brother, cousin, uncle. It's gonna be a good time. Tucker boys rolling deep in a minivan downtown Chicago. What could go wrong? But yeah, looking forward to it. bit.ly/OTMITB24 to get your picks in. Don't forget to put in code MITB, just like I said a few minutes ago. It's going to save you 10% on the markwrestlingpodcast.com. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening to the On the Mark Wrestling Podcast.